Hello, a very, very good afternoon to everybody that's tuning in to Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. It's an excellent afternoon here in Ghana. There's a lot to unpack for you. There's a lot to talk about. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. If you've not subscribed to the channel, thank you very much. If you subscribe, thank you very much. Do turn on notification. As I always do, I entreat you to make sure you share the link for other people to also see what's going on. We love every day to hear from you. Thank you very, very, very much for choosing me on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Today, there is a lot to talk about on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube, and we'll get straight into it. If you just joined in, of course, there's a game, Manchester City, that's going to go on later today, but then this is a preview of Chelsea's game tomorrow, the big one in the evening. It's a 6-pointer. We'll do a tactical analysis, a breakdown of a point-by-point breakdown. So stick and stay, point-by-point breakdown of why Chelsea need to tweak this tactical way to be able to beat Newcastle and then go for it to be in there. The principles of why Chelsea ought to play exactly how I think they should play like this to get results in there for them. And then, of course, in other games that are going to go on as well. So thank you very much for choosing me on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Let us get straight into the conversation. So, Chelsea are 11th on the English Premier League table, and of course, results have not been consistent. There's always a step forward, 2 steps back, a step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and stuff like that for Chelsea. And it has happened throughout the season. I mean, if you look at since last August when the season began, it hasn't been a very, very good season at all for Chelsea. 11th position is not where Chelsea expect to be. Now, in Mauricio Pochettino's pre-match press conference, he speaks about how he wants Chelsea fans to back him. And it's funny to me because if you look at Chelsea, even when Mauricio Sarri finished 3rd and won Europa League, Chelsea fans never stuck with him. And I think that sometimes as a manager, you need more than just being a manager to win the fans into your side and to be that kind of guy. Mauricio Pochettino hasn't shown enough that he's the kind of guy that Chelsea fans should stay behind. Of course, because of results. Chelsea is a result-oriented club. I've said it several times that given what the club has been through, there's the need to lower expectations. But that said, you still cannot fault any fan that believes that Chelsea should be performing better than they are performing this season. Hence, the reason why a lot of fans, a lot of people, a lot of Chelsea fans will ask more from Chelsea folks, the Chelsea team, in the result. Now, the game tomorrow in the evening is a game against Newcastle. That's in my opinion, Chelsea's last chance of having a proper shot at playing in Europe. Now, if you watch the English Premier League table as it stands now, if Chelsea are able to beat Newcastle tomorrow, then it means that, of course, there is a +3 in terms of points that Chelsea are going to have. If Chelsea have +3, it means that they are going to go 39 points and then ahead of Wolverhampton Wanderers, possibly on the league table. Now, if you see Chelsea possibly going on top 39 points, then it means that it's just 2 points away from West Ham United, who are in 8th, and then same for Brighton, who are in 7th. Then there's a game against Manchester United, other games will go on, then obviously Chelsea gets closer to playing in European places. So 6th, 7th, 8th, even possibly 5th can play the Champions League. That's the possibility for Chelsea Football Club, and that's where they need to get to in this regard. And that is why I think that tomorrow's game is a 6-pointer for Chelsea Football Club. Now, if you look at the injury situation at Chelsea, it means that tomorrow Chelsea possibly are going to go into a 4-2-3-1 like Chelsea always does. Now, one of the things that is important for everybody to notice that if you look at Newcastle's way of playing, Newcastle playing a 4-3-3. So eventually it's a 3 big bulky defenders in Dan Burn, Stefan Boatman, Fabian Schär, and Kieran Trippier at the back. Kieran Trippier is the more attacking of the back three. The height of Newcastle's team also makes them very difficult to play against from set pieces. They are dangerous from set pieces. If you give them any chance, then they are going to hit you from chest pieces because they have a lot of the heights. They are very aggressive in winning second balls. In the middle of the park, however, we are expecting Bruno Guimaraes and Shane Longstaff in there as the 2 6s holding up in there. And then up top, Anthony Gordon has the pace to head Chelsea's back line. Alexander Isak in there, and then of course Miguel Almiron these players obviously are going to run their channels, and I think this happened a lot of the time when Chelsea played them away at Newcastle, where they ran the channel very well. They were very aggressive in between the lines in those channels when they built up. Now Chelsea obviously are going to go in the back four also, but I suspect that there are going to be 3 centre backs and then 1 fullback, and the fullback is going to come from the right hand side. It's going to be Malo Gusto, because Marco Correa just returned from injury. I don't think that Mauricio Pochettino starting from the beginning of the game. Our bet is going to come on at some point in the game for Chelsea to use him. So Axel Disasi, who has been the most durable of all the centre backs that Chelsea have had this season, and Trevor Chalobah, and then most likely Thiago Silva, because you know the Trevor Chalobah can play from that left hand side as a left back in there for Chelsea Football Club. I'll bet Chelsea are not going to get a lot more in terms of attacking impetus from him. Then in the middle of the park, Moise Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. Now you see, one of the first tactical instructions that Chelsea have to do, Chelsea can do it in a 4-4-2 shape, where you have Chalobah, Thiago Silva, Axel Disasi in the back, in there at the back, and then have Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto is also very good in terms of build-up. Chelsea can have a back 3, push up Malo Gusto as a wing back when they are building up, and then you are going to have on the left hand side, whoever plays on the left hand side in there coming in. So Raheem Sterling, whoever plays as a wing back sort of to build up. But the biggest issue, however, is the fact that when you want to play, and look at Mauricio Pochettino and how he wants to play in between the lines, sometimes even bypass the middle third and then go long into the channels to his wingers. One of the things that ought to be done is the fact that Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez ought to stay very close to each other. Proximity has to be there between these 2 players in build-up. If Chelsea do not get Caicedo and then Enzo Fernandez to be in close proximity and then play forward in terms of their build-up, then there's going to be a lot of issues in terms of building up from the back and then playing through Newcastle, because of course Almiron, Longstaff and then Gomes are going to be very, very tough and aggressive without the ball when Newcastle don't have the ball, and they will want to win the ball. Now this takes me back to what Thiago Motta said in his thesis work, what he called the value of the ball, where sometimes you want to bypass and get players to receive in between the lines. And I think that's something that Pochettino wants to do, to get his players to receive in between the lines. But one of the things that you ought to understand is that if Chelsea are trying to just play quickly and get Cole Palmer, get Enzo Fernandez, move up and receive in between the lines, what that does is that in turnovers, there is only Moise Caicedo in the hole. When the ball is turned over, he has issues to cover a lot more ground, and then if there isn't a lot of pace, if the centre backs or the defensive line is very up, then there's space behind them for Ishak, Almiron, and then of course Anthony Gordon to head them in behind them. So it is very, very imperative for Chelsea to have Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez very, very close to each other, in close proximity. In fact, just next to each other in build-up, and then hope that there is that short combination pass between Enzo and Caicedo before Enzo moves up. And it means that Enzo has a say in the attacking phase of the game. There's a combination play, they play together with Caicedo, then he moves up in between the lines, and then now becomes the first point in terms of counter press in front of the opposition box, and then also be part of the creators in chief with Cole Palmer, and then of course if there's Conor Gallagher in there to create chances in there. It's very aggressive. It's very, very important. So that's it about Chelsea's issues with build up and whatnot that we've seen in recent games. Now, one of the things that I'm also seeing is that Mauricio Pochettino did say that Conor Gallagher is injured. Not injured, I mean he has been sick the whole weekend, hasn't necessarily played. And I think that can be a necessary evil. If you have Conor Gallagher getting injured and he not getting sick and he not coming to play, then it's the chance for Cesar Casadei. And it's important for a game like this against Newcastle, because now Chelsea get to add extra height to the middle of the park. Now you add Cesar Casadei, who has extra height in the middle of the park. He is taller, he's 6'3" or so. He's able to win duels, he's a dweller in the middle of the park. Now helps to cover the ground for them. The only uncertainty about Cesar Casadei is, can he give you the very good off the ball run, the distance covered, the aggression, the physicality that Conor Gallagher gives you. But of course you are certain that he has the height and he can deal with Newcastle from set pieces, winning balls, and the balls getting to stay. Because one of the things that's going to be very clear is the fact that the game is going to go down to certain things like set pieces, free kicks and stuff like that, especially from corner kicks. And Newcastle are near perfect and almost impeccable at making sure they make the most of set pieces. And Chelsea needs to be very careful with that. Hence, there's a need for the height. Again, Trippier has issues with pace, and if you watch Newcastle, if you watch Trippier, the fact that anytime he comes in to come and attack, and he gets the ball in behind him, he finds it difficult to deal with the pace and then to fall back and then do the defensive duty that he's supposed to do. And it was clear in that game that Chelsea played against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup quarter-final, where Mihailo Modric comes in, the ball goes in behind of Trippier, fails to control it well, and then Modric just slots it at the back of the net. I think this is a game that's made for Mihailo Modric, giving the space that the likes of Dan Burn and then Kieran Trippier can leave in between them. Now Dan Burn will consistently step into the middle of the park to win the balls on the turnover with his height and then play forward. Now it is in these spaces that Chelsea are supposed to exploit and attack and get in between the lines and then hurt Newcastle. The game is in the balance. Yes, the game is going to be very progressive, very aggressive, very combative, but it's also a game that's in the balance where Chelsea's technical ability and that's superior to that of Newcastle can win in the game. And it makes me believe that Chelsea has a very, very good chance, a fair chance at winning the game tomorrow in the evening. And in training, I've seen the likes of Kani Chukwuemeka. I'm thinking that Kani is not going to get a part to play in this game, but of course he would have been such a big addition in between the lines if Chelsea go from the first phase and then they find him in between the lines. He's an excellent creator of the ball, but I don't think Kani Chukwuemeka is going to have a part to play in this game. I mean, of course, Raheem Sterling should be a very, very important player for such a game in there for Chelsea Football Club. So tomorrow it's a big game. West Caicedo has proven to be one of the best players for Chelsea in recent times, and I think that tomorrow's game is one of the games where he's going to show and then put his stamp on as one of the best games for Moises Caicedo in terms of quality on and off the ball, in terms of what he does with the ball. His passing range seems to be very important, and same for Enzo Fernandez. Once you have Caicedo next to him, then he's able to use his wide passing range, the diagonal balls to the left and to the right to isolate the wingers 1v1 from wide areas, and then he will make the run from the first phase into the last phase and then try and add to some creativity of Chelsea from up top. So it's a game that's in the balance. Chelsea possibly can win. Immediately they get the win, it means that push them high up in terms of what the team can do, in terms of what the team can achieve with an FA Cup game on the horizon, and then this in the league, possibly going to play in the final of the FA Cup, and then of course getting a place in Europe. So my name is Fiifi-Manfred. Thank you very much for choosing me. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow in the morning at 10 a.m. There's another edition in the morning, and of course in the evening at 4 there's another edition. Thank you very much for choosing me, Fiifi-Manfred.